Finally. Okay. So, I've already tried to start this video one time, and the intro didn't go as well as I had planned. So, I am just going to start it here and then just go from there, because I don't feel like doing any editing or nothing like that. I don't really have an editing software just yet. I just really just throw my phone up here and just start recording. I hope that the angle is okay and everything like that. But today, I had such a struggle before. I've already tried recording this video 2 times, and both times I got interrupted because of this bottle. I had to open it before the video started because I initially thought these were twist offs, but no, they're bottle opened, obviously, because they're quality beers. So it might not be as cold as it should be, but it's fine. It's still going to be refreshing and enjoyable. It's still slightly cold to the touch, which is enough for me because I've already struggled so much to get it open. I ended up using my key and hurting my hand in the process because I'm not very good at doing that because I just use the fucking bottle opener like a normal human being. That's besides the point. The point of this video is I'm going to be reviewing a beer called Orion. It is a imported beer from Japan, and I got it at the Asian store that is next to my girlfriend's house. It's kind of close. It's in the city area of where we live, and it is called Orion. It's a thumbnail right here. No, I'm just kidding. I'll take that later, but it's called Orion here, and here's the best look at it I can give. I hope that it's catching it just good enough. It's looks like that. If it's focusing, and that was probably too close, but it's got a cool design here. It says Orion, and it says it has like a star over the eye, and it says right here, from Okinawa to the world, and it has a little wheat leaf because it's a wheat beer, and it's got a design there, and it says Okinawa's craft, the draft. And it says, imported from Okinawa, Japan, beer. And it's just got all the warnings and stuff like that. And I'm going to be reviewing this beer. I already had 4 of the 6-pack of this yesterday. Well, I didn't have 4 by myself, sorry. I had 2 of them, and my brother-in-law had the other 2. And I'm going to be drinking another one of them. Anyways, I'm also going to be reviewing The Hobbit by JRR Tolkien. This is my copy. It is a pocket edition of the series, or of the first book in the Lord of the Rings series. And it is an amazing book. I'm going to say that from the get-go. I've read it before as a kid, and I'm revisiting the entire series now as an adult, and I've got to say I am thoroughly enjoying it. It is amazing. Shit. I got the first sip in there, had to dive right in after the struggle I went through to open it, and it isn't as cold as I quite like it to be, which is mildly disappointing, but I didn't want to wait for it to get cold again. Would have taken another good 10-20 minutes, probably 10. It's pretty cold outside, so it's not too bad. And I'm going to be reviewing this, but so far I've got to say I love it. I'm going to be using a 10-point system, or the 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or 8, 1, 2, you know how it works, to review my beers and books and movies and what have you. Although review numbers are always kind of not important, right? Like, I think it's more important what the person has to say over the number, because then people just end up completely glossing over whatever someone has to say, and I think that's what matters when you're reviewing something. But form your own opinion on things at the end of the day. That's important too. And the taste is amazing here. It's incredibly smooth. I don't know what kind of beer style it is or whatever, but I'm guessing from the taste, it's definitely either wheat. It's probably wheat based. Most beers are, but regardless, it is incredibly refreshing. And I'll look up later the style of what kind of beer it is, but I have no idea. Just picked it up at the Asian Mart, I probably should have researched what it is before making the video, but I'm not that much of a beer nerd, guys. I know what an IPA is. I know some styles of beer. I know what I've had Pilsners before. I've had like Hefeweizens. I've had, all kinds of different styles of beer. And I've got to say, I just drink beer, man. Like, I'm not too into it to the point where I care about the style or anything. If I see a beer that sounds nice, and it is important to know what you like, but the thing is I pretty much like every beer I've ever tried. There are very few beers I've had, even like ones people consider to be shitty, unless they're malt liquor, which doesn't count as beer, that I haven't enjoyed. It's primarily the only kind of alcoholic beverage I actually do enjoy. I don't mess with wine. I don't mess with any kind of things like that. I primarily fuck with beer. And it's been that way for quite a good time now. I used to mess with some hard liquor and stuff, but I don't enjoy getting drunk, to be honest with you, at all. I do not enjoy it. Okay, that's not true. I'm lying to you. I do like being drunk a good once in a while, but I just don't think the hangover is worth it. I like getting a buzz. I think I'm maturing a little bit, is realizing that you, as an adult, like a buzz more than you like getting absolutely hammered. And getting absolutely hammered is fun once in a while, but that should be like a max once a month thing, in my opinion. Catching a buzz on the weekends, catching a buzz on the can, you feel me? Nothing better than that. I gotta say, this though is it's a solid 9 out of 10, man. 9 out of 10 is what I'm feeling. It's almost perfect. Actually, no, that's a lie. It might be a... Let me give it another sip. Yeah, that's like a 9 out of 10. That's what I'm giving it. 9 out of 10. Almost perfect. It's not like, honestly, it's not like the best beer I've ever... No, I'm gonna have to lower it. It's not quite that perfect. It's not, because now that I'm thinking about other beers I've had, it's definitely not as good as some of the other ones I've had, for sure. There are definitely other beers I prefer. So this is probably more around the 8 out of 10 ballpark. Again, the number doesn't really matter, but if I have to, which I do have to give it a number if I'm gonna review it, is 8 out of 10. I'll get that out of the way first, so all you know, that's where I stand on this beer. And for the flavor, it is... All I can say is it's smooth and crisp. It's a classic wheat style beer. That's about all I can say about it right now, but it's good. It's definitely good. It's just it's not quite a light beer. It's 5%, by the way. I did search that up. It's 5% alcohol. I think it said that on the box. But anyways, now getting into the main course here. That was just a little appetizer for y'all. Hobbit by JRR Tolkien. What a beautiful book. And I want to show you a little bit of the design inward of here. The book. You open and immediately get the map of the desolation of Smaug and the Lonely Mountain. And J.R.R. Tolkien and his map and world building skills were amazing. But anyways, I'm not quite fresh off of this one. It's been about, I want to say, 2 weeks since I've finished the book. And the reason I didn't make a review right away is because I really haven't been in the mood for YouTube videos, but I thought, why not? Why not? And in the back here, we've got a view of Mirkwood, so right below that. And then even before that, oh no, it's nothing. But yeah, The Hobbit is a simple kids book about a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins living in his peaceful little home called Bag End in the Shire, the land of the Shire, in a world called Middle Earth. And you know the tale of the Lord of the Rings likely from the movies, and you've seen the shitty Hobbit movies, but the book is the real deal for the Hobbit movies, anyways. The Lord of the Rings movies are really good, but the books are definitely better. But I won't go into that too much. All I gotta say is the Hobbit has some of the best development for especially a kid's book, but it definitely goes deeper than a kid's book, and you see that in the subsequent books. But when it was first released, it was nothing more than a really well done kid's book. But essentially, Bilbo leaves his hobbit hole to go to some dwarves come to his house with a wizard named Gandalf the Grey to um, you know, pick him up and take him on an adventure because Gandalf had recommended him as a thief. And these dwarves take Bilbo and and they go on this epic quest and they meet trolls, they meet goblins, they meet wolves called wargs, they meet elves, and it's just so fantastical, and it goes from here to here to here, and it keeps you engaged the entire time. It's such a light read, and it's such a good intro to Middle Earth. And anyone looking to start the Lord of the Rings franchise of books, or the series, shall I say, should start with The Hobbit. It's especially, I would say, a good book because it's mainly about the journey, and he describes the trees as Bilbo passes them and flowers in great detail. And the dwarves in this book aren't too fleshed out. I could find their names, but the main one is Thorin Oakenshield. You got Ori, Nori, Dori, Bombur, the big fat motherfucker, and they're always talking about how much of a fat ass Bombur is. At one point in the book, they go through Mirkwood. I can find Mirkwood. It's right here, actually, in the map. And they go through Mirkwood, and fucking Bombur falls in this water that makes him fall asleep, and they have to carry his fat ass, and Tolkien describes in great detail how fucking fat Bombur is, and that was pretty funny. But that section in Mirkwood was so good. And then they meet these wood elves that take them hostage because they don't want to tell the elves about their treasure, that they're going to find treasure, by the way, and because a dragon stole their treasure from under the mountain, and these dwarves want that shit back. But basically they just go on a fantastical adventure, man. It's such a beautifully written story. And of course, in this, there's a small section which everyone talks about because of how much it affects the later series. But the scene in the cave with Gollum is so good, and it sets up that who that character is very early on, and it sets up hobbits very early on in the world, and then Lord of the Rings just expands upon that. And overall, my thoughts on the book as an adult now reading it were that it aged like a fine wine. I know I said I don't drink wine, but using that statement, it really did age with me. The journey that Bilbo goes on from thinking, damn, I'm useless, I can't do anything to help, I'm not a thief, I don't know why Gandalf chose me in this journey. And he slowly learns, and you watch him learn how to journey, how to go outside his comfort zone. Is the whole message of the story, is learning that you have it in you to adventure and be greater, a part of something greater than just sitting at home all day smoking pipe tobacco and drinking tea, which is sick as fuck, don't get me wrong. But the point of the book is Bilbo learning, you know what, I'm more than just a hobbit. I'm Bilbo Baggins of Bag End. And it's just a great story, and I think it would be the perfect story to introduce a kid to fantasy or an adult. If you're looking to read it as a one-off, you can do that, or if you're looking as a way to get into Lord of the Rings, you can also do that. It works kind of in both ways, and overall, I would say this is a 10 out of 10 book. I know I've been very positive of everything in this video, but I think the world could use more positivity, and less negativity and critical, angry thinking. There are things I'm critical and angry about that I don't like. Anyone who knows me knows that, and you'll learn that throughout watching these videos. But man, I can't say anything negative about The Hobbit or JRR Tolkien's work in general. I feel like he is a genre definer, and you can't really knock someone like that. And anyway, a lot of detractors of Lord of the Rings say that, after all the fantasy we've gotten, it hasn't aged as well. And to that I say, you're fucking dumb, bro. Fooey, hooey. That's fooey, hooey, wooey, dooey. Feel me? Like, that shit's not true at all. Because what? Like, the simplicity of his stories and just sincerity is just unmatched. And I think the world could use less sarcasm and more taking. There needs to be more taking your story serious in this day and age, because I feel like a lot of people, they write a movie or a show and they write it with the sense that the audience isn't going to give a fuck about the sincerity but it does shine through. And I don't know, the Hobbit is just an amazing hero's journey, if you will. And I don't know if that's a hero's journey, but it's just a great book, man. I really, really, really liked it. I keep saying that, but I did. And Smaug is cool as fuck. I like the dragon. I'm going to go into spoiler territory now. I already have a little bit, but I'm going to go full spoiler warning towards the end. When they kill the dragon, it was really cool. What's the guy that killed him? I could find it, actually. I have the source material here. I'll read a little passage, probably, of him killing the dragon. Where is it? Sorry to leave a silence here, but this is the beginning of Lord of the Rings, because it has a bit of Lord of the Rings at the end here. Let's look here. Which chapter is it? Oh, it's right after this chapter. I found it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This is like the whole battle that I'm looking at right now. Oh, Bard. Bard was the character's name that shoots down Smaug, which is the dragon. And he's in this lake town that Bilbo and the dwarves visit later, or earlier in the book. Not too much earlier than when they go to the Misty Mountain, which is where Smaug and the treasure is. But okay, here we are. Here's the passage. I'll read it here. There we go. Then Bard drew his bowstring to his ear. The dragon was circling back, flying low, and as he came, the moon rose above the eastern shore and silvered his great wings. "Arrow," said the bowman, "Black Arrow, I have saved you to the last. You have never failed me, and always I have recovered you. I had you from my father, and he from of old." He's talking about an arrow he found. "If ever you came from the forges of the true king under the mountain, go now and speed well." The dragon swooped once more lower than ever, and as he turned and dived down, his belly glittered white, with sparkling fires and gems in the moon. But not in one place. The great bow twanged. The black arrow sped straight from the string, straight for the hollow by the left breast where the foreleg was flung wide. In it smote and vanished, barb, shaft, and feather. So fierce was its flight. With a shriek that deafened men, felled trees and split stone, Smaug shot spouting into the air, turned over and crashed down from on high in ruin. Full on the town he fell. His last throws splintered it up, sparks and gleed. So he fell. The lake roared in. A vast steam leapt up, and white in the sudden dark under the moon there was a hiss and a gushing whirl, and then silence, and that was the end of Smaug and Esgaroth, which is the city, the lake town, I believe, but not of Bard. And that's just a passage. I won't go too much into reading. This isn't an audiobook, but I just wanted to read a passage that I was talking about. That's the specific scene where Bard kills the dragon, and he's like this archer guy. And it's pretty cool. I don't know if you could tell, but the language is very, very descriptive, and I really enjoyed that. It really does a good job of painting the picture of the story in your head, which all good stories should do. You don't want a story that just describes things tells things at you. You want something that paints a picture in your mind with words. That's the way you want a book to be. You want to be reading and have yourself picturing everything that happens, and a good writer can make you do that. Now, some people I've heard don't have the ability to do that, and that's completely fine, but in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 book is one where the whole time you can picture exactly what's happening in almost every page if you just read closely enough. And, you know, The Hobbit did a good job of that, and I think it did job. What am I, Scottish? That was retarded, bro. Anyways, that is The Hobbit, man. And at the end, the dragon is slain. There's a giant war between goblins and all these guys, the dwarves, the goblins, the elves. They're all fighting, and it's so epic at the end. And Thorin dies. The main dwarf dies. I think a couple of the dwarves die. Balin doesn't die, but then they travel back, which is why it's called The Hobbit, there and back again. And then he comes back, and then he lives happily ever after. But not as the case for his nephew Frodo, which I'll get into in my Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring review. Although Lord of the Rings is all just one book, aside from The Hobbit there and back again. They just later created the different books so that way it was more digestible. But it was all written as one book, one work, if you will. At least I think that's the case. Feel free to fact check me if that's wrong. But anywho, that's The Hobbit. 10 out of 10, easily. I will be doing more book reviews on this channel. I read very slowly. I'll read a couple pages a day. Some days I'll miss reading, just because that's the nature of life. You sometimes skip your hobbies, unfortunately. And yeah, I'll just ride this beer out until it's finished, and then when it's finished, I'll end the video. But this has been a good time. I hope you've had a good time chilling with me. I'm sorry if there was too much dead space in the video. I try to talk as much as I can while making it still feel organic when I'm making these. Again, I don't edit them, just because this is a again journal in a sense for me personally, and it's just a way for me to document my thoughts on things as I view them, which is why it's kind of a shame I wish I would have gotten the review of The Hobbit out when it was still fresh in my brain. But it's okay. I just didn't really have the energy. A lot of stuff's been going on in my personal life that have affected that. This is such a good beer. I really like it. I'm going to search up right after this video's over, unfortunately, because I'm recording my phone, so I can't search shit up right now, but I'm going to search up what kind of style of beer this is, because I should have done that before this, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not tripping too much about it. I hope you guys aren't. You all can search it up after, along with me. Just search up, what is Orion's style of beer? I'm very curious, because I can't put my finger on it. I want to say it's like a wheat the same way a Budweiser is, but I could be completely off the mark there. Honestly, I'm no taste tester or whatever, or, you know. I'm just a dude that likes drinking beer, bro. That's why I hate beer nerds. Do you guys also... I don't hate beer nerds because I love beer, and I guess someone on the outside looking in would probably call me a beer nerd, but I feel like there's a difference between being a beer nerd and being someone who just enjoys different kinds of beers. You know, like there's people who drink soda, and then there's people who are collecting Mountain Dew bottles that are 4 years old because it's a rare Mountain Dew. Like those two people, fuck, dude. This happens every video, man. Every video. It's okay, I'll turn my car on for a bit to charge the battery. There we go. The radio's gonna turn on. Hope you didn't hear the radio. Copyright? No, I'm just kidding. I'll turn that off. Sorry if that was loud. But yeah, beer nerds are just like soda nerds are different than just soda enjoyers. I think it's the same thing with beer, because like I enjoy a brew and different kinds of brews. I've tried sours and all that. I've tried all the different styles of beers, but I'm not picky about beer. I'll have a PBR. I'll have my favorite beer is Coors Banquet, man. Like, and that's not a snobby beer, I don't think. So honestly, my favorite beer is Coors Banquet. I would say that's the one I drink the most easily if I'm gonna buy a 6-pack or whatever. But I do try new things when I want to shake it up. Put in the comments down below what your least favorite beer is, man. I want to hear it, because I feel like that'll be an interesting topic. For me, it's probably gotta be I'd have to think about, because again, I don't think I've had a beer that I've ever not finished. I don't think there's ever... No, there was one, actually. There was one that I have not finished. It was this pumpkin ale, and the pumpkin flavoring that they used, it was like... Where was it from? It was from this store that was in Fresno, and it was like their own brewed beer, and it was a pumpkin ale, and I was so hyped because it was fall, and I was like, pumpkin ale, fuck yeah. And most of the time, pumpkin ales are amazing. Pumpkin spice ales are fucking delicious. But this one tasted like I bit into a candle. Like I took a chunk of a candle and bit into it. Or put pumpkin lotion on my tongue, bro. It was not pleasant. It was so artificial tasting. Fuck, that shit was nasty, bro. That's my least favorite beer. But if I have to go for like big brand name ones, or ones that are recognizable, I probably have to go to... fuck, dude. If I really hate a beer, though, like, I don't fixate on things I hate, or I try not to, because that's not inherently a positive thing to do mentally. But I really hated, not gonna lie, I really don't like Mine Haze 805 by 805, or Firestone Walkers. They're the same guys who make 805 if you live in California. I don't like the blue or purple Mine Hazes very much. I think they're not great. I like some APAs, but those ones I don't really like. And for big name brands, it's kind of hard to think of, because all those brands are kind of designed to be comfort foods, so that it's kind of hard to hate like a Budweiser or like a PBR or Coors, because they're all meant to be inoffensive beers. If you're a beer enjoyer, you'll probably find some level of enjoyment from any big brand beer. So it's kind of hard for me to think of one, but I'm gonna keep thinking. I used to like Heineken quite a bit, and I still like them out the bottles, but out the can they're repulsive. Again, they're too artificial tasting. But fuck. That's a thinker, man. What is my least favorite beer? Like, name brands? Shit. I just thought of it. Tecate, bro. That shit is not good. If you're a Tecate enjoyer, I'm sorry, but Tecate is not enjoyable, man. Every time I have it, it's not very good. Also, Natty Lights are disgusting. Stop drinking that. Busch Lights as well. They all came flowing to me. But if I had to choose one, Natty Lights, Natural Lights, bro, why do you drink that shit? Not only does it not taste like water, get a fucking Bud Light, dude. Bud Light is so much better than Natty Light, and you're tripping if you don't think otherwise, bro. At least Bud Light is inoffensive. You have a Natty Light, you're like, bro, I didn't even drink beer there, bro. That was just nothing. I mean, they're just so inoffensive that they're offensive to me. I think that would be the pick. Busch Light's bad too, though. Bud Ice, I don't even know that counts as beer, but that shit's slop. Oh, Miller High Life. That might take the cake. Miller High Life is really bad too. I don't care if you like it, bro. That shit is not great to me either. I won't drink that ever. That's like only if I'm desperate, and even then I might just not drink beer. But yeah, Miller High Life's not very good. I've never tried Miller Lite. Because I had such a bad experience with High Life, I was just like, I'll just have anything else. On the topic of good beers, though, I mean, there's always Modelo, which I know a lot of people don't like because the owner, but who cares, man? Beer's beer. Just drink it and shut up. Speaking of beer, I keep saying this, but this is a solid beer. It could be maybe rice-based, but I don't know if that's necessarily true or even possible. I'm kind of not drunk at this point, but I'm definitely kind of buzzed for sure, and I'm enjoying this buzz greatly. Gotta say. It feels so nice to be off work, boys. I've been I got transferred from my old location where I was working at to a different location. And that's always difficult, having to meet new people, you know, and stuff, and interact with people that you aren't necessarily comfortable around. And getting to know everyone is hard, you know, all those names and faces, you just jumble them all up and it's a mess. But that's what beer's for. It helps. Always remember that. Drink and drive. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I repeat, do not. That was a joke. Do not take that. No, I'm just kidding. No one's going to care. Don't drink and drive. I'm parked right outside my house right here. And I'm going to go straight out of the car. I'm not driving in the slightest. I am not driving right now. I am completely parked. I wanted to make that very, very clear that I will not be driving after this video. I would never drive it, or I would never condone drinking and driving. Ever. I'm going to turn that off. I feel like that's been on for long enough, and I'm going to finish the rest of this beer and then end the video. I hope you all have enjoyed. For I have enjoyed this session of Brewski with Bryant. But yeah, thank you for watching. That was quite enjoyable. That was the end of that. I'm going to be putting this in my trunk as to not get arrested. No, I'll be throwing it in my recycling bin, actually. That's probably the smarter play. I will be making another video, hopefully either later this week or next week, reviewing the entirety of Berserk, baby. I'm so hyped for that shit because I am on the 14th of the deluxe edition. And I gotta tell you, these last few chapters have been sad. I've been dragging it out because I've been like just dreading the point when it ends because Mira dies after these next few volumes. I'm on the last 2 volumes before Mira passes, and it's just not going to be the same. I already know it's not going to be the same, but a car just passed by. But I'll be doing that, and I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Everyone, have a wonderful, safe day / night / evening / after work / before work, and I'll catch you next time. Shall we?